Welcome to the Lowkey Legends podcast, where we talk to legends that are low-key. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Gabe.
And Hugo.
That's Wayland. And I know you're a busy man, so, we really appreciate you coming on.
Actually, I'm not that busy. I have a lot of time because I've taken some time off and a lot of time off, and I didn't go into the office today.
Yeah. What's new in life right now with you?
Well, just my girlfriend and my partner, and I've talked to a bunch of people. Like the people that I influence is all the people in line with me. Like Matt, my sons, my 3 adopted boys, Jorge, Alex, and Darren, and I've made a difference in their lives.
What are they up to? How old are they?
Well, Jorge's been with me for 14 years. He's with me when he was 20 years old. Now he's 34. Darren's been with me for 22 years. He and Alex has been with me. He's 40 now, since he was 8 years old.
How is that like? Having adopted kids and having them be a little bit older. How was that relationship like?
Well, it takes time. I never knew that I would adopt any boys, but after 18, they're legal age. They can go anywhere they want, but they chose to stay with me, and so that's good.
Well, if you guys don't know, Wayland is the CEO of Fortune Growers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Fortune Growers is the largest broccoli grower in the United States. I'm no longer the CEO. I've stepped down, and we have a new CEO, and we're making money now. They're just good. It's good. But
what is Fortune Growers? Like, what kind of company is it? What do you guys do?
We're the largest broccoli grower, and I've been in produce for 38 years.
He's not talking about wheat. He's talking about broccoli, right?
Yeah.
Because remember we talked about that? People think you're a drug dealer.
They think I was a drug dealer. But initially, Evergreen was my first company that was in business for 32 years, and I still own the real estate. And that does very well. That did very well for me. And now that Fortune, as a distributor, I only started with 2 people, and now we have 200 people that work for us.
Well, yeah, let's now that you mentioned that, let's get a little bit more into like your early life, work, how you got to where you are today. So, what was exactly your first job, and what did you learn from that job?
Well, first job, I was a little egotistical because I knew I worked for my dad, and I worked for a family business for years, but they retired, and then my uncle, he ends up firing me, and I started my own company, Evergreen, back then, and that was 32 years in Evergreen. Through distribution, we just distributed, used to sell everything to restaurants under the sun, but after a year we transitioned into produce completely.
So how do you think working for your family company and all that, how do you think it shaped you into the entrepreneur you are today?
Well, I was a nobody back then at the family business. I was just a nobody. And I'm still a nobody now, but, obviously that I'm more successful now than I was before. And, Evergreen grew to a big, medium-sized company, and at $22 million, we did pretty well. And then the Fortune, the largest broccoli grower, the highest was $117 million and we do like $90 million now, and we started to make money.
$90 million a year?
Yeah.
It's a lot of millions right there.
Yeah, that's a lot of millions.
So, speaking of like that entrepreneurship mindset, did you always think that was like the end goal, to be an entrepreneur? Like, what made you form into this, this field that you're in?
Yeah, I kind of just felt like, well, God led me the right way. I didn't know God was with me for 32 years, but he was with me the whole time. I just I didn't know what my destiny, what direction I'd go in. I thought eventually I'd start working for someone, but I never did. And I just did my own thing.
So, where did you grow up, and how did that shape you as a person?
Well, it shaped me as a person. I grew up in the slums of Chinatown. We grew up in old, rickety building, and we at that time the company, the family business was pretty good. They were good size, but I never knew that I would be the head of my own company.
So speaking of like those times, growing up in the slums and growing up in difficult times, right? What habits from then did you translate now to the success you have today?
Well, the success, I think God led me the way. He's always been in my life, and I've always had God in my life, and I was just below average, an average person, and nobody. And people used to talk down to me all the time, which is fine, that's okay. Even nowadays, that I'm so successful that people will talk down. If anyone thinks that money changes them, it might change them. They might think they're better than people, but they're really not.
Yeah, for sure. Preach on that. But is there anything like specific habits you did, like waking up early, like typical things that people need to do to become successful that you did when you were younger?
Well, now I wake up at I get up at 6:30 and I stay in bed till like 9 a.m. But I used to wake up at 2:30 a.m. to go to the office.
2:30? What are you doing at the office at 2:30 in the morning?
They open at 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, produce, that's what produce does. Produce business does. You start early and you work early.
That makes sense. Because like you're stocking, I mean, people are like trying to get the produce in at early hours of the day before the stores open and all that, for sure.
Yes,
right?
yes. All the stores, and we distribute to stores and restaurants, and we did pretty well back then.
So every morning you wake up at like 2-ish?
2:30-ish, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I go to bed at 7, 8 o'clock. I take a sleeping pill and I'd go to sleep. And that was it. But I did that for 20 years. And now I just take it easy.
Well, now you got $90 million a year to show for it. So
Yeah,
it was worth it. Yeah. But
I actually have one thing to ask.
Yeah.
There's like a myth or something like you have to make your bed in the morning every day to be successful. Was that something that you did?
Yes,
Was that a habit?
Make my bed. I get up early, like 2:30 in the morning. I used to get up. That was tough, but that was no big deal. I just had to do what I had to do back then. But now I wake up. I automatically get up at 6:30, 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. every morning. But I stay in bed and just relax.
so when you were waking up at 2:30 in the morning, like what's going through your head? Like why are you able to get yourself up? Because motivation's a big and discipline's a big factor in how successful someone can be, right? So what's going through your brain, like, what's making you get up and actually go along with what you're doing that day?
Well, I just had to do what I had to do, and being successful, obviously, I was very hard on myself, and you have to be hard on yourself to be that disciplined. But through consistency, discipline is business. I've been 38 years in business. Working out, Gabe, I've been working out for 30 years consistently.
Oh yeah, I met Wayland at the gym. Actually, he's the strongest 60-year-old dude I ever met.
Yeah, it's my birthday today, actually.
Oh,
yeah,
for real?
Yeah,
oh, shit. Happy birthday! Thanks for
Happy
coming
birthday.
in.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going out to dinner after this, so we'll have a good time. We'll eat some good sushi. But getting back into it, so like I said, you're waking up at 2:30 in the morning every day, right? What was the end goal with that? Like, what were you trying to achieve by getting up early, hustling? That was kind of like your hustle phase of your life, right? So what were you trying to achieve in the end?
Well, and achieved in the end is we'd open up at 3 a.m. in the morning, and it started at like 6 a.m. and then it started at 5 a.m. and then we started at 4 a.m. and I wouldn't get up past that. I'd get up at 4. I'd get in at 4:15 a.m. because it's down in the city. Produce market, and as far as what I concern, as far as what I did, I just mainly I stayed control of all the costs of the produce that came in.
And just for the people watching, right? At what age were you doing that, like waking up that early?
At 40.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, let's see, I started the business when I was 30, 31, 32. It got earlier, 33, 34, 35. I think at 35, for 20 years, I got up that early.
Yeah, so, all those years getting up early and grinding, what was the first real big risk you took? Like the next step, you're like, okay, this is going to take me to the next level. This is going to be a huge risk, but it could also pay off in the end as well.
I don't know. I mean, as far as what I did, like, I had 16 cars and multiple real estates at one point, 3 boats, 4 jet skis, 2 snowmobiles. There wasn't anything.
You hear that, guys?
There's
little flex right there.
There wasn't anything I couldn't do. And I did everything. I did a lot of things, and just one thing piled on top of another, and no big deal. Just handle it. Now I don't want to do anything.
Yeah. But that's great. So, like, hearing, your success with all your cars, your boats, that luxury lifestyle. We'll get into a little bit. Hugo's our guy for that kind of stuff. But, let's talk about a little bit about the challenges, setbacks, and, showing resilience.
There's so many setbacks. There's so many things that equated to what I did. I mean, for 38 years I've been doing business, and Fortune is the originally broccoli company, but we handle carrots and celery and lettuce and romaine and cauliflower. But Fortune was there, set up before Evergreen. Fortune's been in the business for 20 years, and Evergreen was 32 years. So obviously we started Fortune earlier. When originally Fortune was there to sell Evergreen like businesses, companies.
So what would you say your biggest setback of your career working with Fortune Growers was? Was there either that like one moment where it was like, set you back a lot that you had to recover a little bit from?
Well, as far as setback, I guess every day striving hard, I always thought that I'd be out of business one day, but it never happened, and I just kept being more successful and very, very, lucrative and very good in what I did, and just hard work. Hard work pays off.
Did you learn more from your wins, or did you learn more from your failures?
Well, when you fail, you want to learn from that. You definitely want to learn from your failures. Every time you make a mistake, and I made plenty of mistakes, I learned from that, and I'm never going to do that again. Make that mistake again. That's for sure.
So, some people when they fail, they either beat themselves up or things like that. So, like, when you had your failures, like, what was your mindset? Was it like, okay, just go on to the next one, or did you like really analyze it and think like, okay, like I'm not going to do this again? Like, how did you think when you like had your failures happen?
Well, when you have your failures happen, you keep that in the back of your mind. You're never going to do that again, and you learn. You've got to learn from your failures, because if you don't learn from your failures, you're not doing anything right. You're doing everything incorrect. Correctly, you want to learn from your failures and everything that you learn from your failures.
Was there ever a time you wanted to walk away from all of it? Like,
every day, but I was
yeah.
I wanted to walk away every day, but after a while, it's like, holy cow, you built so much up, and God bless that I'm very happy where I'm at now.
So obviously, you had a lot of people depending on you, right? I mean, you own this business, all these people, all these employees, your family, your friends, whatever, anybody you're taking care of. How do you deal with the pressure of taking care of so many things and so many people?
Well, you have to take care. We had 22 people at Evergreen, and Fortune has over about 200 people. And the boys, it's just something I did. I did well. I did it without any remorse or anything going backward. But it was very, very hard. But I did it, and it was amazing that I did it. And I'm still healthy, my partner in construction, Mark Tim, he's been with me for 26 years. He helped me build multiple houses, and I built multiple houses with him. And he was very good, and he was a smart guy. But like my mechanic, my tech, he can work on any Ferrari, any Lamborghini, any car I want, and he's good. He can, but he started as a parts mechanic way, way, way back, 26 years ago, and he's been with me for 26 years. Two guys, Tom Bierk and Mark Tim.
Yeah, it's important to have good people around you. That's kind of like Hugo and Jeremiah for me here. Like we're trying to build something together here, with our own businesses and the podcast we're doing together. So it's definitely important to have good, solid people around you.
Yes, it definitely is. You got to have, like, I just realized that Evergreen, Rich ran Evergreen. He handled all the warehouse people, all the admin people. We weren't big staff. We weren't staffed very big, but we had 22 people, and it was pretty good. And now it's crazy now, all the people we have. I don't even know the names of everyone that work for me, that work for us and company. I'm no longer the CEO. I'm just a regular person.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
With all your Ferraris and everything.
Whatever.
So speaking of that, we're really excited to talk more about this, especially Hugo. He's our car guy. He knows all about the cars and, new cars coming out and all that. So let's talk a little bit more about cars. What cars, what's some of the craziest cars you've had?
Well, I've had Ferraris, I've had Lamborghinis, I've had Porsches. As originally I started out as the Porsche champion and the first, man in the United States to win a national championship in a Porsche, for a Porsche. And I won that. And, I used to be a professional skier and martial artist. And, then came the driving. And I still drive. This year I'll be driving. And it's,
oh, yeah?
Yeah, at the Audubon Country Club. I'm a founder there before they even built it.
When's that going to be?
They open on April 1st.
April 1st? Well, I mean,
yeah.
is there
You guys are welcome to come.
Yeah, we'll come by.
You guys are
we'll
welcome to come.
That's
100%.
amazing.
So, you saying that, what was your first car you had, actually? Like,
Well,
not the crazy cars. Like, what's the first
Volkswagen
the shitty
Bug.
car? Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Volkswagen Bug I had.
It's not a bad car.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Yeah, cute. Yeah. God, it was slow. So slow. A four-banger and only had 2 speeds, and I remember that car. Yeah.
May I ask what got you into racing?
I just started racing for the heck of it.
Just for the heck of it?
Just for the heck of it. And, I was good, no matter as a pro driver, I could only finish 12th, and I was just your average. I was faster. I thought I could go faster, but I couldn't go any faster. And 12th was the best I'd finished.
Yeah.
And I was dying. But then I hired this guy named Wolf Hensler. He was a driving pro, and he taught me how to drive. And he cut 0.2 off each turn. You cut 0.2 off each turn. That equates to 2 seconds per lap.
Right. Yeah.
That adds up to a lot.
What is the training like for, obviously I watch like F1 here and there and stuff like that, and the movie F1.
Yeah.
But how's the training like? I've seen it's pretty crazy.
Well, the training is pretty intensive. Like the most races I had each year were 20. The most I had was 26 races a year. And that's a lot of races. And I had multiple race cars. I had 3 Porsches and 2 spec Fords, and man, did I race a lot then. But I used to be so relaxed at the starting gate that I fall asleep at the start finish line.
Yeah, he just landed. He's like, I'm gonna fuck these dudes
Not
up.
only that.
I was after I became after Wolf Hensler, and I was really fast. I was the best driver in the country, in the United States. That's not saying now no one even knows me, who I am. But I still carry forward 2 guys in the garage down in by Sox Park. You got to come down there. They're fully exotic cars. They have exclusive cars, and that'd be good for you guys to meet those guys. And they go to and I got Eugene and Matthew to join the Audubon, and they joined the Audubon. And it cost them like $46,000 a year for the initiation.
Am I going to be able to drive any of the cars?
No.
For someone that practices and does racing, for practice mainly, do you go out to a racetrack and practice, or do you normally do this in like a simulator?
You know, I used to go to every track in the country, but now I just go to the Autobahn Country Club. And that's, if you look up Autobahn Country Club, you can find it on the web. And they have all kinds of programs. They have go-karting program, kart program. And, you know, I carry forward. You know, I try to mentor Eugene and Matthew. I mentor those two guys. You know, those all I have time. Other guys ask me to mentor. I can't do it. You know, I don't want to take so much time to mentor people.
So kind of going back outside the racing, right? Just like a normal like everyday car you use. Going from that Bug Volkswagen, what was the first car that made you dream bigger? Like, what was like, okay, I'm gonna get this car, and I was like, wow, I have like this car in my garage right now.
Well, you know, in '87 I had a 911 Turbo Porsche, and that was a pretty fast car. But you know, I got faster and faster. Now I drive 1,000 horsepower Tesla, and that's not even a big deal now. But you know, I've had a Ford GT. I had 4 GTs. I had 7 on 4 GTs, and the Ford GT, you know, I sold for some good money.
The GTs are now rare.
Yeah, they're
especially
rare.
right now in the market.
Yes.
Do you regret ever selling it?
No, the last Ford GT I sold for, I made 100% on 90% on the profit.
It's such a beautiful car.
I know.
Such a beautiful
I had a
car.
2021 liquid carbon for Ford GT. That was one of 2021 in the country, in the world.
Yeah.
I even know what that means.
Yeah.
Meaning like limited edition. Like
Yeah.
They don't
Really?
make them.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That Shmee 150, he came down and he said 10 years ago they had $1 million car. Nowadays, you know, now there's 10, there's 11, you know, $1 million cars. And there's just too many cars on the market currently.
What made you sell it? Just because you didn't fall in love with it anymore, or
Well, that
just
was, it's
to make
not that.
profit?
I was, you know, God's given me the gift to see the future. I just saw the car, and the car market is definitely down.
For
A
sure,
week
yeah.
after I sold the Ford GT, the market took a dip, and I got good money for the Ford GT, and now the whole market I was just watching the electric cars. They're coming into Canada, all kinds of electric cars, and they're big horsepower cars. Like they got like 1,400 cars, 1,400 horsepower cars, big time, and they're coming into Canada. They're gonna, and with Trump as president, he's not making things incorrect. You know.
Are you a fan of electric cars now more than gas?
Well, I have one Tesla electric car, which has 1,000 horse, but I always have a gas-powered car. You know, I used to have 16 cars, but I got rid of all the cars.
Can I have one?
Yeah.
16.
Now I only got 2 cars, you know, Corvette Z06 and the Tesla Plaid.
Do you prefer gas cars or EVs?
Well, both. But, you know, we're turning to, you know, in 2021, I brought the Tesla, and that was electric. I was gung-ho on that, but, you know, it's changed. 22, 23, 2023, you know, now it's 2026, and now gas cars are coming back in. They tried to come in 24, 25, and 2026. The electric cars are big time.
So when you buy a car, are you like buying for performance, like the craftsmanship, or like the message of the company that you're buying from?
I don't like test drive. You know how you guys test drive cars, or most people test drive. I never test drove a car. I always bought the best. I never test drove.
You're like, whatever I like, I like.
Yeah, whatever I like, I
Yeah.
like. Yeah, I bought the Tesla, 1,000 horsepower, sight unseen. You know, I didn't even look at it. I didn't test drive it. I just bought it.
But did you at least have some knowledge of what you were purchasing before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. But compared to the cars in China, the Chinese cars, it's crazy. They're just so. The performance on the Chinese cars are just crazy. And Trump's not letting Chinese cars into the United States. I don't know what's going to happen.
Out of those 16 cars, what would you say was like, did you have like a daily driver? Like when you run your errands or something? When you had those 16 cars?
Like a chauffeur?
I don't know.
Kind of.
Like a daily errand car.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I get what you
yeah, like I always had high-end cars. Even the daily driving cars, high-end.
So what do people get wrong? Everybody wants a nice luxury car, right? What's a big misconception people get about owning it? Like the cost, maintenance,
The cost,
right?
It's not a big
Yeah.
deal for me.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You just pay for it. But I usually write it off. The company usually does the.
There you go, business 101. Right
Yeah.
there. Was there any like big cost or big mistake you made with any car where you're like, shit, I have to pay this much money right now for it?
Nah, I didn't care that much because I was making enough money to cover my costs. But people, they want to drive nice cars. They have nice cars, but they forget in the end that the cost of driving a nice car, sure, it's cheaper than when it's new, but you got to pay for it.
Yeah, I bet the insurance is crazy too.
Insurance is crazy. We're not even talking insurance. We're just talking maintenance.
Yeah.
Following Gabe's question, earlier you said you had a Tesla. One of the downsides of Tesla is that their value goes down, mainly because of the battery. I don't know how old is your car before like.
Well, the
runs out?
Tesla I have now is a 2021.
Okay.
And it's probably 70,000 miles on it. It's probably lost $100,000.
Yeah, and would you actually replace the battery, or would you just sell it and?
I'm
get a
just
new
going to
one?
drive it till it dies, probably,
Yeah,
and I'd keep the money, probably.
but not do any maintenance on the battery at all.
No, that's a myth. I think batteries that die out in Teslas, that's not going to happen. They just the maintenance on. There's not a lot of maintenance on a Tesla anyway.
Right. Yeah, because there's no oil,
Yeah.
there's no gas, no
Right.
combustion engine.
Right. I just had my tech guy Tom Berg. He ordered a new filter and changed the brake fluid on the. Well, he's going to change the brake fluid on the Tesla. He did it on a Corvette.
Filter, as in like air filter or cabin filter, or
Cabin filter, and then the oil change is in the oil in the brake fluid.
oh, okay. I was about to. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We we talked about your cars a little bit, right? Let's talk a little bit about your boats. How did the process of the thought process of I want to get a boat?
Well, boats are different. It's a different animal. They're not electric, but I had a pontoon boat, I had a ski boat, and I had that was just Corvette engine, and I had a Sea-Doo boat, which had 2 jet ski engines, and it was a jet boat. But I went from that to a Scarab, a single engine, to 2-engine cigarette boat, and Top Gun, and I went to 4 outboards now with a Mystic. Mystic, they're switching to outboards. You got to go change with the times, and I've been changing with the times.
What's the maintenance like with the boats like that, luxury boats?
You just got to keep in warranty. I've learned that 4 engines are hard to insure. That's 1,800 horsepower I got on the boat, and that's a lot of horsepower. And it's way less expensive with 2 engines versus 4 outboards. That 450 horsepower.
Yeah, well, now that the people heard a little bit about the types of cars and boats you can afford and all that, let's take it back into like the business aspect and how people can get to a point where they could be like that. So let's talk a little bit about like your leadership philosophy and how you like run your business.
Well, as far as I ran my business, I was real happy. I was one of 23. Let's see, they had probably 15 owners and 23 units of the produce market. But now we're among the biggest. We sell like Walmart and Aldi's and on a regional level, and not even regional level. We distribute to their stores, their main center, and then they distribute to the stores. But we do Walmart and Aldi and Texas Roadhouse worldwide.
Wow. Well, if you had to pick one specific leadership philosophy that you've relied on throughout the growth of your business, what would that be?
I think my leadership quality is, God was with me the whole time. I gave my heart and soul to God when I was 8 years old, and I had nothing to look back. I just worked hard work, and dedication, just day in and day out, every day.
When you're hiring and trying to build trust with your team, what's something you look for in somebody that like if you want them to be part of your business, or if you want them to grow with your business or hit the next level of like a promotion or whatever? What are you looking for people? Because you're highly successful, so you have an eye for what it takes to be on that level. So what are you looking for in a person?
Probably loyalty. Like Jorge, he helped me with a lot with my son. He's half Mexican, half Puerto Rican, and he became my son. And Alex, my nephew, he's 40 years old. Jorge's 34. Alex is 40. Darren's 41. And it's difficult, but just like my personal life, hard to find the right person to be my partner. It's very difficult, but you got to rely on God, and you got to have a lot of patience. You got to just work hard, just work through it.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely nowadays, I don't know if you've noticed this, but we definitely noticed it, that there's not much loyalty anymore, especially in the work area.
Right.
The work area, like people will just hop job to job. There's no loyalty to one company. Like you hear people, oh, I work for this company for 20 years, 30 years. You don't really hear that anymore. So that's definitely a big difference in the world nowadays versus, back when you were trying to build your business.
Right. Back when I was trying to build my business, back in the beginning days, a lot of hard work. I just worked hard no matter what. I just worked hard.
So the skill of like seeing someone and hiring good people, is that something like that you always had, or did you have to learn how to hire good
It's
people
something
for a
I
company?
had it in me. It was even my dad. I don't have a good relationship with my dad and my mom. But my dad, to this day, he's not with us anymore. He never said, "Good job, son. Good job, son. You did a good job." And I did. I kicked his butt. For sure. I did better than he did.
What, if you don't mind us asking, what is like the reason why your relationship wasn't the best with him?
Well, he used to, back in those days, my sister was a straight A student. She was a 4.0 student, and she was going to be a doctor, and he was real happy with that. And he goes, my sister's name is Shirley, and she was like the driver, and Wayland was just nothing, And I just, I never had a good relationship with my dad. My dad never, just because I wasn't going to be a doctor, I wasn't smart enough to be a doctor, that he looked down on me.
No, I feel you on that. I'm half Filipino, half Pakistani, so I'm not a doctor or a nurse, so they're like, eh. So.
Right.
Yeah.
It's tough. I feel for you, bro.
So, kind of going back to the agriculture business, what's the hardest part of that business in general?
Well, in that business, it's, I'm truly a salesman. I can sell the kitchen sink, and I can sell the bathroom sink, and I could sell you this table if I felt like it. But I'm truly, I look at myself as a salesman.
That's definitely that's probably the best skill you could have, because I think that people nowadays, like even if you're not trying to sell something to somebody, like for example, like if I met you the first day, I'm trying to sell myself to you, right?
Yes.
Like you're always constantly selling yourself. It doesn't matter whether it's like you're getting monetary return in it or
Right.
someone's attention. So I definitely agree with you on that. Like sales is a huge huge importance in the world today. So how do you become a good salesman? Like, for me example, I'm not the best at it. So what would you tell me or anybody watching this? Like, how can they become a better salesman?
Well, to become a better salesman, you got to go after it. Like I just watched my son, who's 38 now. He just went after his own business. He went after Walmart. I just watched what he did. He just talked to the salesman, the receiver, the purchasing agent in Walmart. And Walmart's a huge company, obviously, you know. And he just went after it. You just got to sell, sell, sell.
At the end of the day, you kind of just have to try, right? You kind of fail, and then you see how it
try.
goes.
Yeah, you got to keep going and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Was there a time where you weren't good at it and that you had to learn from, mistakes you made in it?
No,
always were just A1 at it.
My natural. I was a pretty good salesman. A lot of guys, a lot of companies. When I lost my family business, when I lost the position in family business, they felt sorry for me initially, and I keyed on that. For like 8 years, guys used to think that, oh, wait, you own a Porsche, right? Yeah. But you live in a trailer. Yeah. A 3-car garage with a double wide trailer. That's okay. And I just stayed low key on that.
Yeah. Low key legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in sales, like, would you say like tonality and like obviously confidence, but would you say that tonality and like how fast you speak, is that like key factors when selling?
I don't know. I guess it's in my mind naturally that, like, when I had 16 cars, there wasn't nothing I couldn't, that's all the cars I could fit in my garage.
That's why it's only 16. Otherwise, you would have got 20, right?
20, yeah, I would have 20, yeah. But, just knowing the right people, associating with the right people, and just networking that way.
Going into the details of the business world, how important are systems versus hustle? So how important is it for systems to be in place and then, versus just hustling? But you know what I mean? Because someone can hustle but not have systems, and they won't reach the next level because they don't have like a, good thing going as far as system wise.
Well, you got to know your weaknesses and your strengths. Like, I know my weaknesses. That's why we hired a CEO for the Fortune for.
What would you say your weaknesses?
The fact that my strength is having good people around me. I always had, like back in the Evergreen days, I had my ex-wife, Julie, and Rich. Rich ran all of Evergreen, and he did very well at Evergreen. And, just having the right people at Fortune. You got to have smarter people than you. But who's really smarter, you or them?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
That's what it comes down to.
Would you say that, so what would you think is more important with the two things I'm going to tell you? Either like having a skill set, right? Or just like being around the right people?
Well, you have to identify what your strengths are. Like, my strength is I'm able to see the future. I can, like, for the cars, I sold my cars at the right time. I sold my Ford GT, all the cars. I got rid of all my cars. Jeez, it's just crazy. But, I sold all my cars, and I'm just able to see, and I got rid of my McLaren. I traded for a Corvette Z06. I never thought I'd own a Corvette again. But America's come a long way. The way the economy's changing, it's changing big time. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, like, I remember always, like, we would go to the gym around the same time. That's how we kind of built up our relationship. You would always kind of be calling out, like, oh, this is going on with the economy. This is going on with the real estate market. And pretty much every time you said something, it pretty much came true. So he's not lying. He could tell the future. For sure.
I just, now I don't know about the future now. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I've been watching with electric cars. I know what's going to happen with the economy because cheap, nice electric cars are coming into Canada, and it's just that borders the United States, and we're not allowed any Chinese cars in the United States. That's going to be a problem.
And, now that we're kind of going to this topic, talking about like money, patience, and investments, how do you think about money differently now versus earlier in your career?
Well, money now, I got a lot of it, and it's before I used to buy. I'm not no crazy, Well, I am kind of crazy, but
Yeah, like how do you look at money differently? Like you seeing like a big check of like 500K, for example, now versus like earlier in your life.
yeah,
how would you look at it differently?
Like $1 million isn't going to change my life. I wouldn't change anything. I might buy another car. I don't know what I do. I don't know what I do. But money doesn't actually change the way you are.
So with money, right? So you've been on both sides. What would you say is the difference between like people who have a lot of money and the way they look at money, and like poor people and how they look at money?
Well, people that look at money, they tend to be arrogant, and because they think they're better than everyone else. They're really not. They're just the same people. Like I'm the same person I was back. I'm even more humble. Humble's my middle name. That's what I use for humble, being humble. And as far as money, before it used to be primary, but now it's secondary.
What's your primary in life right now?
My family.
Family?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, family's doing very well. My ex-wife does very well. My son, my blood son, and my 3 adopted boys, they all own their own houses, and they do very well.
That's awesome. I mean, you did your job on this earth. You did, you know what I mean? That's exactly what you're supposed to do, and your kids are doing well.
Right.
Wife's doing well, so
That's
I'm
what
happy
you're
for you,
I
for
mean,
sure.
yeah, without your ethical work, you wouldn't lead a path to the rest of your family, your sons,
Right.
stuff like that.
Right,
And
yeah.
you set a good path for them as
Yeah,
well.
it's very important that my family does well.
So
Just
were
like-
there any financial mistakes you've made?
I've
Obviously, you
plenty.
recovered. Look at where you're at right now. But
Yeah.
was there any early on mistakes you made that you're like, oh, shit?
Yeah, I mean, when I lost my daughter, she died 22 years ago, and she passed away. But right when she died, I bought 3 pieces of property. I should never have bought those pieces of property, but I stuck with lakefront and oceanfront, and I made millions of dollars, doing oceanfront and lakefront. But that's not the way to do it now.
How were you going along with your business when that happened? I'm sure, obviously, that's a very, very tough situation to be in. How did you keep going?
Well, obviously, for 3 years I pushed God away, and for initially when Tara passed away in a car accident, like Rich, my partner back then at Evergreen, ran the company, and he ran it very well. Thank God for him.
Yeah, that goes back to having good people around you, for
Yes,
sure, right?
yes,
Yeah.
you got to have good people around you.
Well, I'm sure your daughter's looking down. She's very proud of you. Your family's doing well. You got $90 million a year, so you're
That's
doing
not how much
very
I
well.
made. That's how
Yeah,
much
but-
that company
yeah, for
does.
sure. But yeah, I'm sure she's very proud of you, and you're taking care of your family that you have here right now. So, that's all you can do, right?
That's all you can do.
Okay, I kind of want to go a little bit more into investing, because nowadays a lot of people our age, they want to invest, but they want quick money, right? So what would you, if you had to tell us, people our age, 20s, late teens, 30s, whatever, like what's something good you can invest in?
Well, nowadays, consistency is what really makes me different. Like, I tried all different investments. I tried car dealership, motorcycle dealership, rental properties. I hated that. Yeah, I hated everything. I always went
I
back
work
to
in that. I know how it is.
Yeah, I went back
yeah.
to the produce business, and as far as being in business, consistency, what really makes the difference, and hard work and the faith I have in God, no question.
So if I had $1,000 right now in my hand and I was like, Wayland, what should I do with this right now? What would you say?
I'd say just, I don't know. I'd invest in silver or gold.
For
That
sure.
seems like
yeah.
the-
that seems like the
yeah.
next thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That's always been a pretty safe investment.
Yeah, I was just seeing a brick of gold. Back 30 years ago, you could buy a house for that brick of gold. Now it's worth like $1.1 million
Oh, yeah.
a brick of gold.
Have you ever looked at like Bitcoin and things like that? Do you ever?
Like crypto, yeah.
crypto
No,
stuff?
no.
No.
I lost like almost 10K in crypto.
Oh wow.
I messed up.
Sorry about that.
No, that was it was 2021 when it was kind of booming. I didn't really know what I was doing. I had a bunch of money saved up, so I was like, what can I invest into? And I listened to some people with not good advice, and I'm short like
You
10K
should call
now.
me. I don't want to take your money, but did you lose it yourself or you gave it to someone?
I still have it. I mean, it's down. I assume it's gonna go up one day, but I hopefully.
Bro, I lost
That's-
5K.
you lost
man.
5K?
Yeah, I invested in the same things you did.
Yeah, we did. Actually, I made some money off of what was that one that Dogecoin? Yeah, I made some money off Doge.
Yeah, you told me that, and I didn't pull out. I wish I did.
When the economy's not doing well,
Crypto goes
silver's
up.
up to $94 an ounce.
Yeah.
It was down to 80 in silver was, but silver futures are, and you want to invest in silver because I got the hard assets, and that's worth $20
Yeah, I think
more per ounce.
I think having like physical things is worth more, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well,
Like properties, gold, silver, because some people, stocks can make you money too. But something about just like knowing like you have something that you could touch and you own it, it feels like more safe in my opinion.
Right.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's just like an NFT.
Did you hear about those?
NFT.
You know what that is or no?
No, what was NFT?
So people would make like digital artwork and sell it, and things were going for like multi-million dollars, and nowadays it's worth like $70.
Yeah, because it's digital artwork. It's not actual physical artwork,
Yeah.
Okay.
and the value just didn't really matter at the time. Oh, I mean, it did, but then it kind of like just didn't matter over time
Wow.
because people realized like it's digital. Anybody can just screenshot it. I mean, you don't really physically own it, but it's better to physically own it.
Yeah, I would say nowadays there's too many people. I don't know how many. There's like how many billions of people in the world like,
Trying to make quick money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Everyone's jump. I'm guilty of that. I've jumped from.
No, yeah,
thing
so
to
am
thing, but
I.
always went back to the produce business.
Yeah.
That's
Because
what
it's something
paid the
physical
bills.
you own,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
That paid the bills. Now we do like 4 million pounds of broccoli a week. And
That 4 million pounds of broccoli is worth more than all the crypto right now.
Yeah.
So how would you decide when an investment is worth your time versus a distraction? Like you just, no, I'm not going to do that.
That's a tough question. You got to try everything because everyone makes money on everything, including this table. Like we do for Fortune Growers. We do a lot of produce that people need to eat, and then Motion Logistics is we transport logistics like computers and remotes and whatever, these microphones, they all got freight into them. They all got freight. These glasses,
Yeah.
yeah, they all got freight.
And you would say it's better to invest in like properties and things like that
I'm
instead
not
of
saying that at all.
Oh.
Not
I'm
properties?
I when obviously properties did really well. Like I paid $350,000 for like in San Diego some property that was off the ocean. It's worth like $4 million now. It's crazy.
You sold it or you still have it?
My ex-wife, I gave it to her. She has it.
Just gave it?
Yeah.
Could have gave it to me, man. But so kind of going more into that, what do you look for in an investment? Like, what are you looking for? Like, what kind of research goes into it before you put your money into it?
Produce always made so much money for me. But
Like, you found your thing, and you're like, this works.
No.
that's it, yeah.
I didn't think. I always thought there's got to be a quicker way. There's got to be another way, but there wasn't another way.
Yeah.
Produce was it.
But yeah, I mean, like when you're investing into something, do you look into the numbers a lot? What do you look? You look at the people that you're gonna invest into with. Like what are you looking in for?
Well,
those
I'll
things?
look at things, accordingly and do what I need to do. As far as things involved, but obviously everything that, I would say 99%. I'm pretty well off, pretty successful at 99%.
Yeah, so let's talk about, like, I guess these would be like little rapid fire questions or like little tips and tricks you can give people who are watching this right now. What's one habit you changed, that changed, what's that?
He's showing his car
It's just-
collection.
Oh, shit.
This was one of my car collections. I had 8 cars.
Oh, man.
I-
You're going to have to send me that. We can put it on the screen so the
Yeah,
people can see that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
I had 3 Ford GTs, a McLaren, a Mercedes, Viper. What's that? Tesla, Mercedes.
He doesn't even know that's how many cars he has.
This is outside your parking garage.
It used to be.
Yeah.
Now the garages are empty. Yeah.
So what's one habit that someone could do to get to the point where they'll forget that they have a certain car?
I don't know. Like every time I bought a car, I just go by and I just went and bought a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's like some good advice that someone told you, maybe a mentor, maybe a friend or family member that told you that you didn't really believe in the moment, but later on you realized like that was some good advice right there?
That's a tough question. That's a good question. Like I don't want to give any advice because people are gonna like blame me when they lose their butts. Or if they make money, that's fine. But
Yeah, I guess not really like
Yeah.
financially, but just like life, like just
Yeah.
the way you go about your life.
Because everybody's different. Everybody approaches it differently depending on their circumstances, their environment, and where they are. So everybody's in different starts of the race.
So yeah, what advice would you give somebody?
Just be consistent. Just stay with what you're doing, and you can try other things, but you need to be consistent at the core business that you're working.
It's funny because there's people who are not at the level you are that have all the advice in the world, and then you've actually done all these things, and you're like, just be consistent. It's very simple, right?
Yeah.
People try to overcomplicate it. They try to tell you like do certain things certain ways and all that, and yeah, I mean, I guess the simple way is the best way.
Right. Simple way is the best way. Just be consistent, work hard.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
So you only worked and stayed focused on this company. You didn't have a backup plan, correct?
I didn't have a backup plan, but I tried different businesses. I had a motorcycle manufacturing company, and I had the team that I raced Porsches with. They put together the bikes for me, and the bikes were expensive. I'd sell them for $65,000. We did down at Daytona Bike Week.
You stopped that business though?
Yeah, that's that.
Well, what made you stop with that? I mean, it seems like
it
a pretty.
wasn't $65,000. That's a lot for a motorcycle.
Yeah. That's
yeah,
true. Yeah.
that's a lot.
It's probably you manufactured here.
Yeah, in Florida.
Oh, that's why it's expensive.
It was
Yeah,
fun. It
yeah,
was fun.
that's cool. And then you had a dealership too, right?
Yeah, but as far as Honda, Suzuki, yes, I had a dealership.
It's a beautiful motorcycle.
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about all these successful ways that you've gotten in your life, what's the worst advice that you hear consistently for people getting in the entrepreneurial world? That's I know it's like a tough question. But
Dishonesty.
yeah.
Yeah, you want to be honest, or at least
You mean like how people? I don't know. I feel like a lot of people our age have this mindset like I'm gonna do it my way, and it doesn't matter what happens to anybody else around me. So
Right.
they ruin and burn all these bridges,
Yeah.
right? So you think that's that what you mean by being dishonest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dishonest. You want to be honest with everything. Everything you do. You don't want to be dishonest. You don't wanna be
Yeah, I
dishonest.
could see that.
And that like keeps trust, obviously, when you're honest all the
Yes,
time.
yes.
So, by the way, we recorded this podcast last week, or not last week, a couple weeks ago, and we had a lot of technical difficulties. Hugo was a ghost, couldn't even hear him, and the wall fell off. So, like I said, I appreciate you coming on again. And this was a question we asked you last time that I think is a very important question to ask. If you had to start over again tomorrow, what would you do differently, and what would be the game plan?
The game plan, I don't know what the game plan was. I just have a lot of faith and just go with whatever
Just keep going.
Yeah, just keep going.
For sure.
Because eventually, the company I'm with, Fortune, it'll pay off big time for me. And I'm still working the business, So, it goes along. I continue to work the business.
And how do you want Fortune Growers to be remembered? Like, what do you want the legacy of it to be?
I don't want the company to be just as they call me the Broccoli King, but whatever,
That's funny.
That's cool. Whatever.
He's got like a iced out chain with broccolis and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, well, I guess that's all we got for today. We really appreciate you coming on again.
Sure.
We're gonna go get some dinner for your birthday. Happy birthday again, Wayland.
Thank you.
And you guys have anything to add?
Thank you for coming on, Wayland. Happy birthday.
No, thank you. I'm glad to do what I can to spread the word of God and just have faith. That's all.
Yeah, and you're helping the next generation, like
Yes.
people like us, younger
Yeah.
than us, try to make it in life, whether it's business or just being a better person.
It's tough out there.
Yeah, nowadays, man,
Yeah.
for sure. So, yeah, appreciate you guys tuning into an episode of the Lowkey Legends podcast. All our socials are linked below. And yeah, that's it. See you guys next time.